Why do you never hear, always hear women talk about broke men? Why don't y'all hear men talk about broke women? Because there's a lot of broke women.
It's a patriarchy.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of broke
There's
women.
a patriarchy here.
I've dated a couple. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You dated a couple broke bitches?
And
broke, why you dated them?
I didn't date them specifically because they was broke, but it was like, how much you make? Oh yeah, I'm gonna date you. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just that obviously I don't prioritize the woman's finances as much, so it's not a priority to me. But we don't talk about that as well, and that could be, I wouldn't always be like, oh, a broke man is miserable. Broke people are miserable. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not a man thing. It's not a gender thing. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Too. I think he wants to say that.
I feel like with
he trying to be polite. Broke bitches is miserable too. No, for real.
I feel like with men and money and women, it's just always gonna be funny because if she makes too much, is uncomfortable because now he's the bitch or he's the wife or he makes less.
Let's speak on it, honey.
And then if she has nothing, then she has to abide by whatever he says and probably be his property in most cases.
Right.
So women that don't work allow themselves most of the times to get cheated on, embarrassed, disrespected because they can't maintain their own lifestyle without a man or don't want to.
I think money is like one of the biggest controversial issues between men and women and just life too in general because like I said earlier, like men are the dominators. Men are supposed to be the caretakers, the providers. Women are supposed to be taking the home, cleaning, cooking, blah, blah, blah.
But I feel like they're naturally competitive men.
Yeah, history is what it is. So the discussion about, who's broke and who's not, it falls more on the man's side because that's just what we've been taught. We've been conditioned to think that way. Like the man should always have more money and not the girl. So when you come across a broke girl, it's not like, oh shit, she's broke. She's not about it. But when you come across a broke guy, it's like, damn, what he's doing with himself. Like, there you start to make excuses kind of for a female. Like, oh, maybe she got this, maybe she got kids, maybe it's hard, maybe this, maybe that. Like, but with a guy, you're like,
he's just broke.
What he's doing? Why he not getting up every day at 6 o'clock in the morning?
Even in these times where women are supposed to be, I hear all the time, black women is, they get into the bag, you know what I mean? Like, so why is it still that same stereotype when it comes to in these times?
Especially in a time when women have fought hard for equality. Y'all want to be equal in everything until it comes down to finances. Then it's like, oh no, y'all still the bread. Y'all supposed to still provide. That's what the Bible say. You know what I mean?
I don't want to be equal. I will cater to my man. I will do all the things, honey.
I want to be able to hold myself down regardless. Like I feel like I need to have my own table, my own house, my own mansion, like inside my home before anybody could come in and then they add to it.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, like you come into this world by yourself, you're gonna leave by yourself. You don't know what can happen between you and anybody else. And I don't ever want to feel that dependency, like where I'm left stranded and I don't got no choice because I just been dependent on a man to make all this money. Like,
so why does it have to be a dependency thing? Like, you know what I mean? Like we talk on the show about a word called interdependence, right? You know what I mean? It's both people dependent on each other. In society, I don't think we talk about that word enough, or that might be our first time even hearing that word. Like, you know what I mean? Because we're so used to being independent. We want to tell, each gender wants to tell each other how much we dependent. We don't need you. I don't need to rely on you. When really we need to depend on each other. You know what I'm saying? And we've been going so far away from that. Like,
Yeah.
Even in a situation where the man is making the money in the household, he's very dependent on his wife. She's cooking, taking care of the kids. Y'all talk about how you can't put a price on that, but y'all never equate that when it comes to a household where a man is making the money. Like, oh, I'm dependent on it. He's dependent on you too.
Yeah, but that's like,
and that's great. I love that.
So messy.
I love those dynamics.
It gets really, really messy because then it's like everybody's like, "Oh, you did this, I did this, we did this."
I just feel like
people aren't adults.
You didn't do that.
And like, it's cool to be dependent on somebody 100%. You know, who doesn't want to have
somebody to
lean on 1,000%?
Yeah.
But then you don't want to feel like when that person leaves or if something happens between the two where you're just bickering about all the things you did, all the things I did, and now we don't have that anymore together. You know, so it's like now because we depended so much on each other, I can't even be independent. So it's like I feel like regardless of how much you depend on somebody, you should still always have your independence as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I feel like men are just, like I said, naturally competitive. So
I don't think that applies.
I'm not giving you a dollar.
I don't think that applies in a relationship.
It absolutely applies in a relationship.
No.
Like a lot of men who are
only women want to compete with their man in a relationship.
Absolutely. I would never want to compete with my man. That's what we're trying to tell y'all.
No.
We're trying to tell y'all, we don't want to compete. You could be everything to me, and I'll take it.
You don't want to compete.
I don't want to compete, honey.
But
I just feel like
a lot of women want to compete with their men in
men
relationships.
have superiority complexes, right? And I feel like they want to be the ones making the most money. And when they're in situations where they're not, it's uncomfortable for them. And I feel like that aggression shows up in other ways. It could be mental abuse or physical abuse. But if he can't top you in the relationship in that sense.
So
okay.
you being the perfect girlfriend.
Okay.
You making more money than this man, but out of nowhere, he just aggressive.
You ever seen that episode with Martin when he found out she was making more than him, and he did an exaggeration of that's how men are.
Bruh.
No, let's reference it because that is one of my favorite episodes. He was mad boots.
You do have a point in that there are men that can feel a type of way because they do feel like, as a man, you feel like the only thing you've ever been told in society is that you can provide for a woman or for a family. And then when you take that out, then it can make a man feel less than a man. But we do have women on the other end who do emasculate their man or feel like, you know what, you're not as much of a man because I out-earn you, I educate you. So there are women that do emasculate,
and maybe
men.
they play right. They play
into that. And that's why the man
which is why
So maybe he doesn't want to have a woman.
Is coming out.
Right. This is why he probably doesn't want to have a woman that makes more than him, because he may be scared that she might use that against him.
Ain't a fair. It's the truth.
Also, okay, so
anytime y'all get in an argument, what you think that first thing's gonna come out her mouth?
But that's the truth. No, I agree with you. So that's why a man might not put himself in that situation. So I completely agree with you. We're gonna be petty. We're gonna go for the dirt.
So it's not that we competitive. It's that we logical.
No.
That's logic.
Let me tell you something.
If I get in a relationship with a woman that makes more than me, when we have a disagreement, she gonna throw that in my face. So
let me tell you something. Is it logical? Like, okay, there was a video going around of this woman, like the bill came, he had to pay for the bill. The woman passed her man the bill? Like the money on this, like on the loan, and then he paid it, right? So your woman, the most important person to you, the one that you should be impressing, is sitting there holding you down so y'all can look a certain way to society and to the world and to the rest of the world. So that's his ego. That's not logical.
Is she doing that for
men
him?
Are and men are naturally like that. Like if you didn't have it, right, and I had it, right, and I was gonna pay, do you prefer me to just give my money outright, or would you respect the fact that I passed it to you so it could look like you was paying?
Fuck that.
Yeah, I wouldn't care.
My girl paying. What you talking about?
There was a bunch of men in the comments like, yeah, she a real one. And I was like, no, she not no real one, because he's supposed to impress her. Like he's supposed to only prove to her that he can pay. What does it mean to the waitress that you can pay for me?
And that's an insecure man.
And that's an insecure man. But a lot of men do that. And a lot of men
there's a lot of insecure men.
Hold me down, especially if you from Brooklyn.
Yeah, like, from Brooklyn.
From the hood?
No.
The hood part's okay. My grandma grew up in Bay Ridge. She had a brownstone there. It's not hood over there. So that's what you got. It's not. Oh, Brooklyn is not hood.
You're right.
So yeah. So a lot of I've done it. I've done it. Like
you slid the credit card.
I slid. Okay. It was
debit card.
Pre credit card days. Okay. It was cash.
I slid the cash on the okay.
Like a drug transaction.
Oh, okay. Why you ain't just giving the money before y'all got there?
That's true. I don't think we was thinking. True. That's true.
So
Got it.
I think, and I want to get to the next topic, but I think obviously this area that we're going in when women are, making just as much as men, or closing that gender
wage gap
or whatever. This is like the first time in human history where this has been a thing. Like, you know what I mean? So we're trying to adjust to it. Like, you know what I mean? In our society. And the rest of the world is not the same because women don't have the same rights as the men in most places and stuff like that. So here it's like, and I think in Greenland, they have a society where, their men and women both share the financial responsibility. They have like this like synchronized society.
And every other country is not that way.
And it works perfectly in Greenland over there. Like, you know what I mean?
Where else? Let me name another country, please.
That's one of the
for 500, Alex.
Greenland is one of the most happiest countries in the world.
I think it was definitely like Switzerland or something like that.
Greenland top 5 for sure.
Sweden,
Luxembourg.
Oh, I've been there. I love Luxembourg.
New Zealand.
My favorite place. Okay,
but like Eli said, like it's new times, and I guess people are adjusting to it. It does take a big man to accept that his woman is making more than her.
Why do you think that?
Probably ego. You know what I mean,
right.
A lot of people need therapy.
Right.
You know what I mean,
you don't have that ego involved. You like
not at all,
right.
man. Take care of me, baby. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
but that's what I'm saying. See, if men could do it, because obviously women have more of a past culturally speaking. No, he's not sassy. He's not
definitely
sassy.
gonna say you sassy.
Let me tell you something.
We break your generation.
If men can do it, I mean, they would. So don't judge us because we use our feminism to get that type of relationship and have those type of dynamics. Like if men could, y'all would do it in a minute.
Yeah,
like,
I feel like if you're really
crazy
into somebody, then the woman spending money on a man should not be an issue.
Yeah.
Whether it's vacation, going on a date, shopping for gifts.
Yeah, I've always
think like, why would I want my man to always buy me something and I can't buy him nothing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's so.
Hell no, I would never.
So like,
I've always believed in
whack.
reciprocation from beginning to the end. Like if I'm texting you first every day and I gotta do that, and I don't text you first this one day, you can't text me. I'm all right. I guess we don't have the same amount of interest in each other.
You might not like me. Let me stop. I'm joking.
We might not have the same amount of interest in each other.
I'm very open to texting you. It just may not happen sometimes because I'm so used to. I'm like waiting for your text, excited. But now that I know that's a perspective of some men, then maybe I would just, if it's past like a certain time and I know he would have, I'll just text now. But it wasn't shady. It's not shady from my part. It'll just be like, I'm waiting for him to text me.
Okay, you might be waiting one day too. Reciprocation.
Having a battle. We're gonna text each other first.
Right.